It was really a thrill for me to be able to go around and shake your hands because I'm so sick of the Zoom calls that we've been doing for the last almost 2 years. And it's wonderful that the town of Colma has created this opportunity for us to recognize you and honor you. You've sacrificed for our country, and we are free because of your sacrifice, and we're incredibly grateful to you. I chair the Military Personnel Subcommittee of the House Armed Services Committee, and as chair of that committee, I have made it clear that when the service member serves, so does his or her family. And we have done many things in the last 3 years to change the focus in the military. Military service members are not numbers. They're not cogs in a wheel. They are human beings with the needs and aspirations that we should do everything in our power to support. I have spent a great deal of time on veterans issues as a member of Congress. I was absolutely despondent some years ago when I was getting call after call from veteran who had a service disability and had applied to the Veterans Administration for support and were waiting year after year after year, many of whom died waiting. So I decided I was going to do something about it. We had a huge backlog at the Oakland VA Center. I went over there, I visited, I held 3 what we called fix-it town halls where I had the Veterans Administration show up. I had veterans there, and they complained about their issues, and we got the Veterans Administration to address the issue. It so happened that one of the veterans who showed up at one of these fix-it hearings had been there at D-Day. Imagine that. And he had been waiting for 2 years to get his service-related disability check. And the administration, the Veterans Administration, wanted him to go and get yet another physical to determine whether or not he was eligible. And I said to the VA that day, I said, you're going to make sure that this claim is processed now. He is not going to have another physical just because you've waited too long to process his particular claim. So as a result of those efforts, we were able to return to veterans in San Mateo County $6 million because you deserve to be compensated for the service that you provided. So we observe Veterans Day every year because at the 11th hour, on the 11th day of the 11th month, was the exact time when major hostilities of World War I ended. That was when the armistice with Germany in 1918 took place. So it was the deadliest conflict ever, with 35 million casualties, 10 million soldiers died, and 20 million were wounded. Wars have consequences, and those consequences often linger for years and years and years afterwards. So it's important for us to recognize the high cost of war and do everything in our power not to go to war. But we have to be prepared. And you, as veterans, served your country, you were prepared. Many of you served in Vietnam? How many of you served in Vietnam? Any of you in conflicts after Vietnam? So we recognize that without you, our freedom would be, in fact, lost. So on that day, it was then President Wilson who said, "The war showed us the strength of great nations acting together for high purposes, and the victory of arms foretells the enduring conquests which can be made in peace when nations act justly and in furtherance of the common interests of men." To us in America, The reflections of Armistice Day will be filled with solemn pride in the heroism of those who died in the country's service, and with gratitude for the victory, both because of the thing from which it has freed us and because of the opportunity it has given America to show her sympathy with peace and justice in the Council of Nations. I had the honor to be at the D-Day commemoration, the 75th anniversary of D-Day a couple of years ago. And it was President Macron who turned to the World War II service members who were seated on the platform behind him, many of them quite old, and he bowed to them. And he said, "We will be forever grateful to America for freeing France." So what you do, what you have done, what all those who serve will do in the future is not just protect our country, but protect democracy and freedom around the world. So I want to give a special shout out to the honorees today: Matthew Hartog, David Ferguson, Louis Lopes, Philip Doyle, Floyd Fleming, and Stephen Hopkins. We are grateful to you, we honor you, and we thank you.